Hello everyone, this is reificastion here again, the low APM Terran, and this is a ladder match from when I was in Silver League, and it's a TvP. I am the blue Terran up here in the top left hand corner, and my opponent is Fox Blaster, the red Protoss down here in the bottom left of Ohana. So I am going to be showing my TvP style, which basically revolves around one basing. I'm typically going to go for a 2 racks into 2-1-1 all in with pulling quite a few SCVs, which is pretty effective style against Protoss. It certainly enables me to beat quite a lot of Protoss, and even ones who are significantly better players generally than I am. The idea is to hit before they can get up any significant area of effect units, because those are quite hard to deal with a Terran army. So he's sending his probe in pretty early to scout what I'm up to and harass me. And I'm generally not very good at dealing with probe harass. I'm good at letting my SCVs die and forgetting to build stuff while I'm dealing with probes. So I think I'll probably end up messing up the initial 2 racks to start with. So I should be getting a 12 barracks, 13 late 13 gas, 15 second racks. Put out 1 marine from the barracks, which is just started. So that marine should kill off his annoying probe and then go down and see if he's got a nexus and try and hide behind the gas if he hasn't, so that I can see what time the nexus goes down if it does indeed happen. And yeah, his probe's getting slaughtered, and now the marine should go off to have a look. Yeah, so the idea with the 2 racks poke is to have about 950 Bucks army at 6 minutes, together with concussive shell, and then you try and arrive at his base around the time Warpgate's finishing and see what you can get done. You run away if he pulls all his probes to fight you, because he's going to win. So often I get to kill a nexus, and if I arrive and I find there's no nexus, then I'm going to poke up with a marine to check that he's not doing a DT rush or Colossus drop rush or any kind of rubbish that means he's not going to have any defense at that time, and so I just get to kill him then, because I'm not going to get any engineering bay or turrets or the like that would enable me to defend, say, DTs, because I want to spend all that money on army, and so therefore this is the way I try not to die to fast DTs. However, I generally made a maul of the opening and piled up so much money that I decided to throw down a 3rd racks to just try and spend it all. And when I mess up the build at the beginning, I usually decide to just abandon the 2 racks poke, because it wouldn't be effective without having the full army that I could do. Another thing that I'm likely to do wrong here is I'm not going to lift this barracks after it's finished researching 1 or 2 upgrades. I'm just going to leave it on there all game. I really want to swap that tech lab on to be getting tanks or banshees. So now I haven't seen any expansion out of him, so I'm kind of getting a bit concerned that he could be 1 basing. So I'm going to throw down that bunker. My wall off here is pretty lousy. If he was going for, say, an immortal push, he could probably get to kill all my add-ons, which isn't great. I'm trying to remember to have this guy constantly building depots so I don't get supply blocked. And I've started on my factory to go 211. Right, so in his base he is getting immortals, and yeah, he's got a couple of gateways. And he's not deciding to expand, which is probably because he's come up here and seen that I'm not expanding either. Right, so he's just going to hang out and wait and see if I do anything while I'm getting my combat shield and getting my starport. So I have quite clearly oversaturated with my SCVs because the idea is that when it's time to attack, I want to be able to pull at least a dozen SCVs and still leave myself soft cap saturated so that I can send waves of reinforcements to my attack. Because, as I said, I don't plan on building another base. I just plan on attacking until I win or I die. So I'm moving my army down here now in preparation to go out and attack, and I think that will be beneficial because I think he's going to send his probe in again to try and see if I've expanded, as he doesn't have an observer, and he's going to see my army here and wrongly assume from that I have expanded, and throw down his nexus in a little bit. So I've got my tank. I should be researching siege mode, that's almost done, and I'm getting out a medevac. After getting out the medevac, one medevac, I usually switch over to banshees to get the extra damage out. So I've got my stuff and I should be about to go now. I'm a bit late with this push. I would really like to be arriving at his base at 10 minutes rather than leaving. And you might also notice that something important is missing in this push: the SCVs. So yeah, this means it's not going to go anything like as well as it should do. You'd hope that I'll be able to crush him with my army, just looking at paper. But without the SCVs, it's going to be far more of a even and reasonable fight. One thing that is going to go well for me is that he's got all his mortals, which are great units versus tanks, and none of them are going to be firing at tanks for some time. There's 3 of them, they're still not firing at tanks, they're still not firing at tanks, and yeah, that's just really great for me and really lousy for him. Oh, he finally is going to get a couple of shots off with the Dying Mortal. That was a bit late, really. So I am getting up into his natural. He's cancelled the Nexus. He's got an observer beautifully positioned in order to see this bit of my base, but not the stuff coming out. So I'm going to get to a bit where I'm not very good at deciding when and how to go up the ramp. I'm going to get all my SCVs force-fielded off. I'm not going to siege up immediately and back off, which would be better because then I could shoot the sentries if they try and come forward to attack. I'm just going to let him kill with an SCVs, which helps getting back into the game. I am going to get to destroy his cybernetics core. I am going to finally get up the ramp. So it's looking pretty good for me here. I'm not reinforcing well. You can see on the mini-map a huge clump of units that are only just now coming down to attack. He's chronoing everything like mad to try and get out some units to defend. And I'm going to try and knock down these 2 pylons to unpower his buildings. And I'm going to succeed in killing that pylon, and the Immortal was 4 seconds from finishing. So now coming in to try and finish him off. But he's learned his lesson about the Immortal, and so he destroyed my tank. I've got my Banshee firing at the last remaining Stalkers, and he hasn't got a cybernetics core, so he can't build any more, but it dies with the Stalker having virtually no health and not being pairing with that SCV, which is a bit unfortunate, because otherwise I'd have pretty much had the game won there. I think I could have just camped the Banshee over here and killed all his probes. So now I'm pushing in with some further waves of units, and I'm also completely forgetting mules. So my command centre is going to go right up to 200 energy, and I'm going to bank a lot of gas that I won't be able to spend because I don't have the matching minerals. So I've also got this wonderful medevac which is chilling out over here rather than repairing, and it's going to spend the rest of the game chilling out over there, watching for him to blink out or warp prism. No, I've just forgotten about it really. So I'm doing another good job killing off his pylons and unpowering stuff again, but he is going to manage to repel me. I should be coming in with the Banshee here really because he has no anti-air, but I'm waiting for some more units to pop down. And the waves of units coming in just continues. So he's kind of grimly holding on at this stage. More chrono goes down on everything. I'm trying to decide when to go in and when to try and attack and finish him off. And we're getting to the stage now by 60 minutes in the game where I'm going to be mining out mineral patches on my main, but fortunately, again being Terran, expanding here for me revolves around picking up my command centre and putting it in my natural and then moving the SCVs down. So he's managed here to break out. He's got significantly more army than I have at this stage, or a slightly better army with his gas spending, and my tank's not going to be any good against the Immortal. So he's going to eventually be able to break out of here, and I'm going to be in a bit of trouble momentarily. So I'm trying to hold on to this position outside his base. He is setting up in his natural. He's going to want to take his Nexus as soon as he can because Protoss can't float their buildings. I'm not very good at keeping track of all my units, so I've left some more outside there. I'm relocating my command centre now, and moving down on my SCVs, and the flow of units continues. He can see everything I'm doing with his observer, and you might want to pay attention, but there's 4 Marines here, kind of hidden by the Zelnaga Tower. They will be relevant in a bit. So he thinks he's got a good enough army to come and break out the contain, and I think he's going to be right. So I'm not even sieged up, and he can of course see that with his observer. And so he's going to kill the tank pretty easily. My SCVs are going to show up late again, and all suicides as their deaths in a recurring theme. So now you can see I look pretty screwed because he has an army and I don't have any units here to defend, and he's coming to kill me. But we have the 4 Hero Marines which are going to charge in, change his mind, all his probes are going to run away in fear and give me a chance to actually get some units out to defend. These probes, I decided to chill out there for a bit while my Marines suicide into the cannons. I managed to get a kill of one probe before the probes kill my marine, which is always a bit of a sad sight. He's back now with his army, now he's cleaned up the marines, but I now actually do have some defending army, although I'd still fancy his chances. His army is much larger, but for whatever reason he doesn't fancy his chances, and so he's going to go home, which I'm kind of grateful to him for. He's got up his, he's putting up his nexus. Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that decision. Yeah, if your opponent's got that lead on you, then I think you're better off just attacking. So I'm sending down a Banshee here to see what I can get done, and building up a force here and bunkering up, because I had my natural down long before he did, so I should be getting, I should have gotten the economic lead with that, and so I just want to kind of build up my army again for another push, and try and knock down his natural, which will end the game because we won't have any more resources after that. You can see I'm moving ahead quite nicely in the army size, and in due course, decide I'm ready, I'll be moving out. He is doing some strange thing with his probes. I'm not sure what prompted that. Possibly just a bit of miscontrol. So he's sticking with his Immortal Sentry Stalker composition. I'm sticking with leaving my medevac floating out over here. And he's got his observer into a better position now to see everything that's coming. At some point I have researched Cloak for my Banshees, and I've getting rid of my salvaging my bunkers, and it's time to go, and leaving behind this tank. So he of course sees me coming with the observer, and this time I think I'm just not going to pull. Oh no, I do have 2 SCVs this time, but that was just because they were building the bunker, I think. Oh no, I've even got a 3rd SCV. That's a vast improvement on the first 2 attempts. So I'm just setting up shop outside his natural. I'm going to try and slow push in with the tanks a bit, not get too reckless. So my Hellion goes up to see what he's got. He's got the same kind of stuff, and I think I can stim in and get in and force fields some of my stuff out, but I've got a significantly larger army, and stim marines are pretty good against gateway units, so I'm going to get to kill his stuff, even with my tanks just sitting out in the backfield and not doing a lot of damage. The Cloak Banshee is going to be super effective because he had 2 observers, but they were sitting out over here and here rather than actually in the fight. And you can see Immortals are pretty damn good against tanks, but they're not very good against Banshees. So I have basically managed to trade armies there, which is okay for me because I've been busy building up another army back in my base, and so I'm going to go out again hopefully pretty soon to trade that off. I'm actually repairing up a Banshee with one of my SCVs, and we're now at the 25-minute mark in the game without any attempt to build a command centre. So I'm doing a decent job of continually producing units, whereas my opponent is racking up about 1,000 minerals and not making units, which is why I've got a decent supply lead here. So I'm going to be coming out for another move, and my opponent's going to be going for a 26-minute ninja expand, which is very standard. And then, fortunately for me, I'm going to go for about a 27-minute scouting for ninja expos, which is when I remember to do it, thinking that that's about one of the ways I could still lose the game, because I'm feeling confident that my army is pretty good. So I've got my SCVs and Marines out scouting for the expos. I've got a pretty significant supply lead by this time. So I run into the Stalker here, which is suspicious. I get to kill it with my stemming, and he's going to send over all his army to protect this ninja expansion, which is a questionable decision to say the least. I'm going to see with this Banshee that his army is coming over to protect expansion, and then I'm going to take all my stuff and I'm going to run it right into his natural. And that is bad news for him, because now he has to attack me up the ramp, and I have the better army, so this is looking like it's going to be the end of the game. I've also taken my reinforcements and I'm sending them via this not so ninja expand to kill that off. He has to fight me coming up and down ramps, and I get to squish his everything, knock down in terms of expansions. He has nowhere he can mine, and so that's the end of the game, really. I'm going to stay for a few moments longer. There's not really much left in it for him. Yeah, so he's completely mined out. And the probes are just chilling out, and he is going to GG out, or just leave the game. And that was a game 3 seconds short of 30 minutes, in which I did not build a command centre and yet still won. Don't you just love TvP?